My name is Michael Taylor. I'm the principal of Michael Taylor Architecture Plus Design. I want to welcome you to this house that we designed back in 2011. It's truly one of my favorite projects. There's so many aspects to this house and the design that have resonated with me over the years. I come back to visit as often as I can. In fact, I had an opportunity a couple of years ago to spend a week here. I don't often get an opportunity to do that. It was really special to get to experience something that I had designed, but to really spend time there. Get up in the morning, look out at the view, come home at night. For the first several days that I was here, didn't even turn on the TV. The view was just so spectacular that we would just sit outside, glass of wine, watch the sky, watch the clouds, watch the birds. It was just a really magical experience. We're at the front of the house right now. There's some really interesting motifs about the front of the house. One of them is the channel glass that you see up above. It's glass pieces that actually fit together in a series of U's. And behind the channel glass, we have the master bedroom, bathroom, and the guest bathroom, as well as the stair. This provides privacy, but also at night, the channel glass glows, and so there's this welcoming, warm lantern that attracts you as you come up the path. One of the recurring themes that we were developing when we were conceptualizing this house was about blurring the distinction between the inside and the outside. So this first occurs when you approach the house in the front door, and we put this Algonquin limestone. It's a local limestone from Ontario. It's on the outside here, but then it reappears on the inside, and as you'll see, there's another wall even further in. So that's outside material then reappears inside to create that sort of blurring. So let me take you through the house and show you why this is such a special project for me. So as you enter the house, you can see that the stone I was just talking about on the outside has reappeared on the inside. And in fact, there's another wall that we have even further into the house, which relates to some planting that I'll talk about a little later. As you enter into the main space, you can see that we've completely dissolved the back of the house. We installed these windows from Denmark, 2-story. What we wanted to do is just take advantage of what are some of the most spectacular views that you could ever imagine. And as we look out through these windows, we see the trees, we see the sky, and we see the water. And you can see that we've brought the planting from the outside inside, again reinforcing that whole idea of dissolving the difference between them. It's juxtaposed against more of the stone wall that we saw as we entered the house that also extended into the foyer. We decided that rather than having upper cabinets that you often will find in the kitchen, that we would put all the storage underneath one great long counter. So there's a lot of storage, and the really interesting thing about this is that the counter itself actually extends out onto the deck and becomes the barbecue counter. So that, again, we're reinforcing that whole inside-outside feeling. One of the most dramatic features of the house is this cube, which contains the primary bedroom. This really appears to float over the dining room and kitchen, and then it extends out, again, reinforcing that inside-outside idea to become an overhang at the deck. And there's some really interesting features to this primary bedroom. The first is that opening that you see up there is actually something you can open and close. So it really promotes this whole flow of space. Someone up in the bedroom can talk to someone down in the living room, or you can close it off and have privacy. And the other thing that we did is we inserted a skylight right at the top of where this volume is that sort of slides out. And it's an amazing opportunity to bring natural light deep into the space and have these wonderful views of the sky and the trees. So we're here in the primary bedroom now, and in many ways this is one of my favorite rooms of the house. There's a very different experience that you get from being in this room. What we did was we decided that we would actually frame the view of the landscape. We framed it with a cedar-lined balcony. And it's kind of like feeling like you're in a tree house because the trees are all around you. And what's really incredible, as the owners told me, is that the view changes so dramatically depending on the time of day, on the season, and on the weather. So we're here in the primary bathroom right now. You can see that we brought back the same wood that we used downstairs, and it's actually both a platform to get onto the tub, but it actually also includes the shower that's tucked in the corner there. We wanted the bathroom to have a spa-like feel. That's why, all the materials are sort of light in color. The glass tile has sort of a greeny watercolor. And what you're also seeing here is that channel glass that I was talking about from the outside of the house. And you can see that there's a beautiful diffused light that comes through that channel glass. So there's a really interesting story about the building of this house and the strategies that we took in order to be able to build so close to all the trees. The house is actually built on the foundations of the house that was here before, and that house was built by the client's father, and that's where she grew up. So the back of the house was conceptualized as a great place for entertaining. We built out the decks, and we built them as far as we could so that they're almost right up against those trees. And by building on the foundations, that's what allowed us to do that. We did not take a single tree down in the building of that house, and I'm very proud about that. And the owner, that was also very important to her, so I'm glad that we were able to achieve that for her. This is what it was really all about, this spectacular view. The trees, the sky, the water. Those chairs are actually where, when I had the opportunity to stay here, I would end up every night just to take it all in. I don't know, I've never worked on another site quite like this. Thanks for accompanying me on this tour, and I will leave you to enjoy these amazing views.